as women begin to understand the language of men and men begin to understand the language of women, and you begin to understand it's not that we don't have emotions, we have what I call he-motions. We feel everything as deeply as you do. We just express it differently. I was holding my wife one day. She was falling apart. We were going through a crisis, and she was crying. I took her in my arms, and I held her. And I love it because it makes me feel needed, and I need to be needed. And I held her, and I held her. You know what I'm talking about? It's something to be needed, you know. And I'm holding her, and I'm patting her, and I said, baby, it's all right. It's okay, baby. It's going to be all right. And while I was patting her, I envied her just a little. Just a little. Because deep down inside, I felt like screaming too. But I wondered if I would scream, who would catch me? If I would fall, who would hold me? And I gave her what I secretly wanted myself and sucked it up inside of myself and kept on going, because the last time I broke down and really fell apart, I was about 5. And you know what they told me? Big boys don't cry. And when you tell us that at 5, don't change it at 35. Because by then we're so far back in the cave. When you get ready for us to open up and express ourselves, we don't even know how. One footnote about this thing about communication. See, for communication, what we use most generally in our culture is words. But some of the deepest communication for men is not language. It's not language. It's not always language. It's in our eyes. It's in a pat on the shoulder. It's a coach who pats a boy in the rump. He doesn't say anything to him, but means get back out there again. We speak sign language. Okay, when a woman comes in my office and she says, Pastor, he's wonderful. Everything started out real good. I thought our marriage was going to be great. She says, but I'm going to tell you the truth. He may be cute. He may be fine. He's 6'2" and fine. But I can't trust him. When she says I can't trust him, she almost inevitably means that he is cheating, or she thinks he's cheating, or he has some sexual perversion or issue in his life. She says, I cannot trust him. That's what she means. And evidently, when a woman says that about a man, it is the epitome of an insult to her. This is capital punishment. A woman just about will stand by you through anything else. You could rob this 7-Eleven and come home and say, you know, I robbed the 7-Eleven and the police are coming. I don't even know why I did it, and it's absolutely crazy. And the police could knock on the door. She say, Jimmy ain't here. But if you come home and said, you know, I had a tryst with the second, she gonna kill you. Am I right, sister? Anyway. So stop telling us it's the sin of it. It's not the sin of it. It's your value system. Sometimes it's our value system. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just our value system, because adultery tears a house. It tears a heart. I understand the seriousness of the issue quite clearly. I do. I really do. But when a man comes and he says to me, Pastor, I'm telling you, man, you don't know her. I'm telling you. You don't know her. You see her in church. I'm telling you, you don't know her. He says, I can't trust her. He generally does not mean infidelity, because we feel about our hearts the way you feel about your body. That's why Proverbs says, the heart of her husband does safely trust in her, that he has no need of spoil. You know what the hardest thing it is to give you? It's his heart. It's hard, because if you break my heart, you've broken me. You understand what I'm saying? So we try to guard our heart. I'm still not sure I asked Sister Jakes to marry me. I think that's what I was trying to say. Okay. I got somewhere about up in there, and she snatched it and ran, and we got married. You know. Let me show you what I mean. It's difficult for us to open up and be transparent, to really tell you who we really are. It may take us a long time to finally get to the point that we, one night, in a moment of vulnerability, generally at night too, in a moment of, okay, I won't go there. In a moment of vulnerability and transparency, I'm not gonna put it all on you at once, a little bit at a time. I don't want to put you in the shock, cardiac arrest. Anyway, in a moment of vulnerability, if we finally get up the nerve to tell you something about who we really are, or something that happened, or something we saw our mothers do, that happened with our fathers or something that happened in our childhood, if in a moment of vulnerability we finally open up and tell you who we really are, and then 6 weeks later you in a moment of anger reach back and get something that I told you in a moment of vulnerability and use it to win the argument, because you know how y'all like to win the argument no matter what. If you break back and use something that I told you out of the treasure chest of my masculine soul, you will shut me down for the next 5 years and roll a stone in front of my cave and leave me locked in my dungeon, never speaking a word to you again. That's what he means when he says I can't trust her. If she tells her prayer partners and her prayer warriors about what's going on in our life, it violates trust. And we feel about that the way you feel about adultery. Never had anybody tell you that, did you? Am I right, fellas?